Hello again, Rabbi.
Good afternoon, Joe. Here I am again out on the veranda, the porch, the
I hope
lanai.
you're enjoying your time by the sea.
I
I,
am. I love hearing the sound of the waves crashing on my 75th birthday and in my retirement.
well, I noticed that your balcony has a nice fence around it, and I seem to recall a recent Torah portion discussing the safety mandates in the Torah about protecting yourself and protecting people around you. And you had an interesting observation about how that relates to modern day life. Would you share it?
I would be glad to. That's kind of neat because if you look at the fence behind me, it's set up at approximately chest height so I can't accidentally flip over or fall over. And you can see the ground is there. You go, well, it's not such a big fall. Why would someone put a fence there? Our Torah portion from 2 weeks ago talks about social responsibility. The Torah talks about building a parapet, a wall, on the roof around the perimeter of your house. Now, remember in biblical days, people would go up on the roof, depending on the season, to sit in the sun or to have a shade and then feel the cool evening breezes. People had gardens on the roof. People grew spices and vegetables on the roof. So it was what we would consider like the deck behind our house, only in the cities it was on the roof. Well, the Torah portion, God commands you are to build a parapet, a wall, to protect people visiting from falling off your roof. It's social responsibility. The Torah portion also goes on to point out that if you dig a hole on your property and don't fill it in, and my goat breaks his leg, my ox gets killed, you owe me damages because you have a social responsibility to build a fence around the hole or fill the hole in. Even though it might be on your property, there is this concept of the common good. Oh, the Commonweal. Oh, the Commonwealth of Virginia, the Commonwealth of Kentucky, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, all based on the common good. Nothing to do with even my own safety. The Talmud and the Torah portion isn't talking about me falling in my hole or me falling off my roof. No, they focus that we each have a social responsibility in order to protect others. I'm reading this and I'm thinking, we're going through this with the vaccine. So you don't want to get vaccinated, whatever your personal reasons are. Okay, those are your personal reasons. God has commanded, however, that you have a responsibility to other people. And by being vaccinated, we're tempering down the COVID, we're tempering down the Lambda, the Delta, the different variants, and it becomes less contagious once more people are vaccinated. So it's a social responsibility, just like building a parapet, to protect someone else. There's another law, attractive nuisance. Your refrigerator breaks, your freezer breaks, you put it out on the street, you have to remove the door or seal it shut so that an unwitting, unknowing child or adult won't get locked inside and suffocate. You're liable if you put something out that someone can get hurt on that you could have prevented it. We're talking about preventable, not anything arbitrary, not anything ridiculous. So if you put a freezer chest, a freezer out, and the door's flipping, and someone could get sealed or locked in, right? Then you're responsible and you're required to seal it or take the door off. And it's the same as a parapet. It's the same as filling in a hole. It's not about your safety. We're not talking about you. We're talking about a social responsibility to protect others. And this is what's happening with the vaccine and masks and social distancing. Forget about nothing to do with you. Hey, the universe doesn't revolve around you. Get over it. There's another whole universe out there that's not you. You, however, have a social responsibility commanded by God. Now, if you want to ignore it, you can, but understand that if we're to exist as a society, look, I'm going to run. I don't have to stop for a red light. Why should my life be determined by traffic lights? I shouldn't get vaccinated. Same thing. Traffic lights shouldn't tell me what to. I'm going to go through these red lights. Well, I might. Okay, I get by. Someone else does. What if no one follows the traffic laws? Why should I drive on the right side of the road? You're not going to tell me what side of the road to drive on. I'm free to drive on any side. Maybe one person, a little distance, but if everyone does this, the common good, society collapses. So when we talk about vaccinations, we talk about mass, social distance, whatever we may talk about, it's not about you. It's about all of us as a community, because we can't function if we're going to do things that endanger each other. In England, London in particular, Scotland, they do this in the big cities. On all the intersections, they put up fences to keep Americans from getting killed. Well, not just Americans, Frenchmen and Germans as well, but it's a neat phenomena that a lot of Europeans visiting the UK were getting hit by cars because they were looking the wrong way. So painted on the sidewalk is a big arrow, look this way. And many intersections have fences. And we're now doing that here in the United States, where we have dangerous intersections, where people walk across the highways, a road that has not a wall, but a small division between the directions, putting up fences so people aren't tempted to cut across the highway. And that makes perfect sense. We're right back again. We're not limiting anyone's freedom. This is for the common good. Because if everyone's doing it, we couldn't drive cars and we couldn't walk. So there's something called the social contract, Joe, that in order to live together, that we agree to watch out for each other and fill in the holes that we dig and build a fence like the one that's behind me so that people don't fall off and hurt themselves. And I think that comes to mind now during the pandemic, that we're losing sight of the common good and living together as human beings and what we need to do.
Well, one thing that we need to do is pay more attention to your wisdom, Rabbi. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your nice fence. And I'm sure you have a flotation device whenever you go in the pool, and wear shark repellent whenever you're in the ocean.
And when we took our trip to Montana, one person in our group carried the bear spray in case of a bear. Why would you do that? Because something could happen and it's preventable. And so we want to protect each other. All right, I'll see you next week, Joe.